in this world, too many otherwise smart, brilliant, competent people, too many of them play the wrong games with stiff competition, crappy prizes, and they wonder why it's hard as heck to get ahead. So is your goal to make money so that you can quit trading your time for money as soon as possible? If so, then what I'm about to say applies to you. Let's take a second and look at the most successful people in your town. I'm not talking about Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk. I'm talking about the people in your neighborhood, the people at your country club, the people who eat at the nice restaurants in your town, the people who have a very good life but don't necessarily get news articles written about them. Let's think of success as that. Let's think of success as the people who have enough money to quit trading their time for money early on, meaning they don't necessarily have to work a job if they don't want. They can spend time on the golf course. They can spend time on vacation. They can buy what they need. They can do anything that they want to do. Let's put that as the North Star. You may want to change the world. You may want to get articles written about you. I'm not talking about that. Step one is to quit trading your time for money. Let's call that success. And let's call achieving that a successful career. A successful career is being able to do what you want to do without trading your time for money. Okay, I'm not talking about being a billionaire. I'm not talking about new inventions. I'm not talking about fame. I'm talking about success as being able to quit trading your time for money and making money while you sleep and gaining wealth while you work less and less and less. So for all intents and purposes, when you listen to me, when you listen to this podcast, when you listen to anything I write, that is the North Star. That is what I call successful. Now, if we measure a career like that and we think about the ways to get there, I'm going to introduce a framework to you right now. And this applies to real estate specifically, but also careers in general. I want you to think about a career as a series of games. And you are a poker player, not a roulette player. Roulette is luck. Roulette is simply playing the odds and whatever happens, happens. Poker, you can look at the odds at any given hand and you can make choices to increase or decrease your bets. Not necessarily a lot of luck, of course, but you get to play the odds on every single hand. Before you do something, before you put something in the pot, you get to look at, okay, what resources do I have, chips, and how much of this am I devoting? When it comes to career, you have one main resource, it's time. How much of your time are you spending? So think about time as your stack of chips in front of you, and you are in a poker game. In a career, it needs to be thought the same way. Many, many people make the mistake of thinking about their career in terms of just sheer luck, and maybe they're playing defense, maybe they're just doing what everybody else is doing, and maybe they're choosing, routes that aren't necessarily going to lead to being able to quit trading their time for money. So I'm going to ask a series of questions, and the key to winning this game, the key to achieving what I'm just talking about, is to take a step back early on in your journey and figuring out which game is worth playing and which one isn't, which direction to go. You make millions of choices, thousands a year, that are direct impacts on your career and your life. And every time you make one of these decisions, I want you to think about this. I'm a poker player. I'm going to take the path of least resistance, and I'm going to see what can get me to this goal the quickest. Too many really smart people play the wrong games with stiff competition and crappy prizes. And they wonder why it's hard as hell to get ahead and get closer to winning. I'm going to say that again. Too many people in this world, too many otherwise smart, brilliant, competent people, too many of them play the wrong games with stiff competition, crappy prizes, meaning the winner, what they're awarded isn't necessarily that good, and they wonder why it's hard as heck to get ahead. So is your goal to make money so that you can quit trading your time for money as soon as possible? If so, then what I'm about to say applies to you. Question number 1, is this game fun to play? Is the route that I'm about to go down fun? Is it a passion project for many people? Is it enjoyable? Is there status or ego behind it? If so, if it is fun to play, a lot of people are going to be playing the game for fun and not for money. And it likely adds value to you and doesn't add much value to others. You're a selfish career decision maker. You're doing things because you want to do them. You're doing things because it's fun. Picture pro golf. Oh, I want to become a pro golfer because it's fun. Or picture a pro athlete. I want to be a professional athlete because it's fun. Or maybe robotics. Oh, I want to be an engineer because it's a cool thing to do. I want to go work for Tesla, whatever it might be. And you can obviously be massively successful doing those things, but the odds might not be for you. Another great example, this is opening a restaurant. I want to open up a restaurant because all my friends told me that I cook really well and I could be a great chef. That's why many, many restaurants fail, because these people are terrible at business. So if the game is fun to play, people play it for selfish reasons, and they're not necessarily in it for the money, they're irrational. Rule number 1 is do not play against those people. Next question. How good do you need to be to win? What percentage of the players accomplish the goal of financial freedom and, again, not trading time for money? What percentage of the people win? How good do you need to be? Pro sports is one extreme. 0.01% of the folks who try to become a professional athlete actually win and make good money and get rich. Real estate is on the other end of the spectrum. A lot of really dumb people make a lot of money in real estate. You can be in the 50th percentile, meaning half the people are better than you and half the people are worse than you. And if you're in the real estate game, the odds are you're going to be wealthy. At the game you're playing, what percentage of the people accomplish your goal? How hard is it? You're choosing your competition. I would much rather compete against rich, lazy people in real estate than I would compete against hardworking, physical specimens in professional sports. Next question. What does winning look like? A corner office and good enough pay, but no life and 70-hour work weeks? Is that what winning looks like? Is that what your boss is doing? Look at your boss and look at their boss. If you're working right now and you go to work, look down at the corner office. Look at your boss. What is your boss doing? Do they enjoy their lives? Because that is exactly where you're headed if you win. If you're looking at buying your first piece of real estate, it's pretty clear that the people who play this game and do it well play golf, they travel, they hunt, they do whatever they want to do. Next question. Who are you trying to impress? Are you going a certain direction in your career because others think you should or society idolizes it? Or are you going a specific direction in your career because it makes you more likely to accomplish this goal the easiest way, the best odds possible? Many, many times your ego is the enemy when it comes to choosing your game. If you're doing it because of what other people think, because it sounds good, because it'd be fun to tell grandma at a family reunion that's what you're doing, or it's fun to tell people on the golf course that that's what you do, then you're doing it for the wrong reasons. Does the game reward the right kind of action? Many, many games that you can play in this life don't necessarily reward competence. Too many folks get burnt out in many fields because they're more about politics or more about just laying down heavy hours than adding real value and being good at what you do. If you're a politician, doesn't necessarily, the actions don't necessarily lead to direct influence. You're in a giant bureaucracy. It's really hard to get things done no matter how good you are. So maybe that's not the game to play if you're after monetary value and being able to trade. Stop trading your time for money. If you want to be rewarded monetarily for what you do, can that happen in your job? If you're really, really good, if you're the best, are you going to get paid like the best? A school teacher, it's really pass-fail. A school teacher will get paid the same. There is a strict range that school teachers make over time. And if you're a phenomenal teacher, the best of the best, if you're in the top 0.05% in the whole world, you're going to get paid the same as somebody who's in the 50th percentile. So that doesn't necessarily reward monetary value, it rewards time. Small business is the best place to be if you are after somebody who can directly compensated for what they're worth. And again, you have to really know how to transmit what you're worth into money. But if you're really good, the smaller the organization, the better. It's really hard to raise up the corporate ladder in corporate America, especially with all the craziness going on with, who's promoted and all these metrics that all these companies are trying to hit. It's really, really hard to get rewarded for competence. The smaller the company, the better. Next question. Do you want it all right now? Are you willing to log the time? You're destined to fail no matter what if you don't stick with something. If you want it all right now and that's the game you choose, the odds are phenomenally poor that you're going to do well. The folks who win, the folks who really succeed, they think 5 years ahead. They're willing to log their time. They're willing to learn a craft. They're willing to delay gratification. They do the sucky work right now so that they can do the fun stuff later. 10 years ago, I was in a warehouse. I was loading boxes. I was not making any money. I was sweating. All my friends were having fun or working cushy office jobs. I was in a warehouse loading boxes. I chose to do the sucky work then so that I could learn, I could make a little money, I could get in the real estate game, and I could do the fun stuff now. Can you avoid the golden handcuffs? Can you avoid it? Can you avoid being trapped into making more money as a W-2, trading your time for money, trading your time for money, trading your time for money? Because when you start earning more and working more, almost everybody, me included, spends more money. You spend it. You spend the money. And then they become addicted to that paycheck. We become totally dependent on it. And if it stops, even for a little while, we are underwater. Can you shift gears once you've won? Let's fast forward. You're rich. Do you keep grinding 7 hours a week? Are you totally obsessed with the game? Are you a deal junkie? Are you going to take unnecessary risks? Or do you take a step back and enjoy your children, your life? Do you have balance? Do you change your investment style and take a little bit less risk? Or do you keep pushing it back all on the table and potentially go broke? The winners, they have balance. The winners are like water. The winners, the people who achieve this goal, the people who dominate their career, they change course when a path of least resistance becomes available. They're not pot committed. They're opportunists. They quit when the odds suck. They double down when the odds are good. And they do a pretty good logical job of looking at a route, looking at a path, looking at a game, and figuring out if it's worth playing. The winners, if you think about, a path, a career as a mountain that you're going to try to climb, the winners took a few steps up 20 different mountains. They tried a lot of stuff. They quit it. They knew when to quit it, but they also knew when to stick with it. And they took a look at what life was like at the top of that mountain. They thought about how hard it would be to get there. And then they picked the mountain that was worth climbing. Juniper Square, the sponsor of this show, recently conducted some research to help you understand what real estate investment managers are doing to build stronger relationships with their investors and earn more referrals to new investors. Their new special report includes data on topics such as what factors are the most important for building investment relationships today, how technology is being used to provide a competitive edge, and the one technology integration that is driving more repeat investors and more referrals. To download this for free, visit junipersquareresearch.com. Again, to get this report for free, visit junipersquareresearch.com. Before you go, we have a new sponsor of the show, recostseg.com. And if you bought a piece of real estate, you need to get a cost segregation study done. It's what allows you to get all that sweet, sweet bonus depreciation, and it's how real estate investors like me and many others pay almost nothing in taxes on an annual basis. You can cost seg a single-family rental, a short-term rental, or a large commercial property. recostseg.com is affordable and aggressive and super fast to turn them around. They've done 10 plus cost segs for me this year. They're going to do many more for me. Visit recostseg.com to learn more.